Power to the truth. This is Margo. This is Thursday, May 16th, 2019, 6:24 p.m. Pacific Time, United States of America. So we're going to talk today about the weather going on in California and the West Coast. Going to really focus on that. I didn't mean to click all that. Here we can see the system that's already moved through, and another one coming in and another one building. It's atmospheric rivers that are being set up, and if we look at NASA worldview, here is the United States, and here's this system which has already moved through, and here's the next one that's set up and that's coming in. And it looks awful. Looks like a big scorpion tail. And then there's a huge one out here in the Pacific that's moving in right after that. So I've got an article to share concerning the weather. We're also, I'm just going to be showing some other websites too. And we're going to be talking about the lake levels up at Oroville, and then we'll go over earthquakes. By the way, if people want to know what the officials are putting out, go to the Oroville News Live Facebook page, and they're posting everything over there. And you can make up your own mind what you want to do, but you can certainly track these levels yourself, and you can certainly see what's going on with the weather and decide, make your own decision. It comes down to you. You have to take responsibility for your decision on what to do. And so that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to get in trouble with anybody. Okay, so here we are on Climate Reanalyzer for today's weather maps. Here's 2-meter temperature anomaly. Now we can see this cold air coming down through Canada, and also all of California is blue, which means it's much cooler, 10 to 15 degrees cooler than it normally is at this time of year. And I live in Reno, Nevada, so that's kind of on the edge of what's going on in California, and we've got 10 degrees cooler here. It's definitely cool, and we're getting a little bit of the system, but the snow has to come over the mountains. And we got a little bit of rain last night, but they're getting snow up in the mountains they've got with that second system coming in. There's the precipitation and clouds, and what else was I going to show? Let's look at the jet stream. Here's the jet stream. So here's where that thing is coming in, and it's coming in with a huge force. There's 10-meter wind speed. Precipitable water, that's moving in. And let's look at sea surface temperature anomaly. So the water is warm, so that's setting it up for this atmospheric river to take place. I also have this is on Climate Reanalyzer as well. This is a 10-day, just go to hourly forecast maps, and this is a 10-day global outlook for the United States for total accumulation of precipitation. Alright, so we're going to go back to the beginning. here it is at the beginning as of today. And so this is for the whole United States. So there's another system that's set up right across the Midwest, and it's going to be much worse as far as rain. When you see that, then these systems over here. But it's these systems over here that I'm really focusing on, because I'm focusing on the Oroville Dam, and it's right over here. And by the way, in case you want to know where Oroville is, I'll show you on NASA Worldview. I have to go back a few days to where it was fairly cloud-free. So here's Reno. Here's Chico, California. And this is the Oroville Lake that's filling up, and they're wanting the officials are wanting it to get up to 900 feet. That was the latest post. And Oroville is right at the bottom here. But this is the Oroville reservoir. There's a dam here that the spillway failed 2 years ago. It's been rebuilt, but they still there have been controversy. There's been controversy about whether or not it was all the repairs were made that were recommended and this and that, and I'm not going to get into all of that. You can do your own research. There are plenty of articles out there, and what I'm getting into is just tracking the weather now and tracking the lake level and watching to see what's happening. And at 901 feet, the emergency spillway will start working. If they don't open the gates for the main spillway, then it'll start coming over the emergency spillway at 901 feet. And there are lots of issues surrounding that, with the pressure of the water and this and that, and it's a whole thing. I mean, and then there are reservoirs up above here. Part of the Feather River has 3 branches that feed down into it. I watched a really good educational video about it from Millie Kay. There are 3 branches of the Feather River that feed into Lake Oroville, and each branch has reservoirs, and apparently all of these reservoirs above it are full, and Lake Almanor is let's see, I can't get it right here. Let's see, I can get it. I think I can get it on the earthquake map. Here's Chico. Here's Lake Oroville. Here's the dam. And then here's Bugs Lake. That's one of them with a reservoir, and that one's about full. Lake Almanor is up here. It's huge, and it's got a dam, and they're not letting out water from this one. And it feeds in. Here's the Feather River. Here's the North Fork of the Feather River, and it feeds down in here, and it goes down and goes into Oroville. But this is a huge reservoir, and it's pretty much full. And so all of these reservoirs are almost at capacity. Here's another one. This is Little Grass Valley Reservoir. And a lot of these reservoirs do have dams, and you can see with these blue lines how they all feed right down into this Oroville Reservoir. And so all of this area, this whole area from the snow that they're getting in the Sierras, it's going to be coming right down. It's going to be coming right down. So they're saying that since, you know, that they just give out contradictory statements saying, oh, the snow was melted, and then another statement says, oh, we've got a huge snowpack, but it's melting slowly, and it's a whole contradiction thing, you know, so you don't know what to believe. You just have to use your own discernment and listen within. You just have to listen within. And here's the Sierra Nevada mountains. And so when you get snow coming down on these mountains, of course, some will run off to the east and some will run off to the west. And so we're looking at what's going to be coming off to the west. And so even if they don't get enough rain to fill up the lake right now, they could have an emergency with just the amount of snow that's going to be coming off, melting. So it's a whole thing. So let's look at this animation I've set up now. So here it is, starting with today. Here is kind of Southern California. This is what they've already gotten as far as precipitation, and this is all, they're counting this precipitation like snow and rain together, and 1 foot of snow is equal to an inch of water. So, and Oroville is right about over here. So they're kind of in this green area. And also, if we look at, let me refresh this. This is the inflow to the Oroville Dam, Oroville Reservoir. Here it was, this was, let's go to earlier. It had been reading, before the rain started, it had stayed at around, here's the rain, here's the amount that's in the lake from the rain. It had been at 42.38 inches for weeks because they haven't had any rain. And then, so this is from May 15th at 6 a.m. And then wait a minute. Yeah, May 15th. Okay, that was May 15th at 6 a.m. 42.38. Then when you go later, then at 7 a.m. they've got 42.39. So that was on the 15th. So we can see that it's the rain had started on the 15th. The amount that was starting to fill it up, which is what they want, fill her up. And then here it is on the 15th, and this is hourly readings. We can see it's going up as far as the rain. Here it was on the 16th, and here it is right now. The latest reading was at 1800 hours, which was 6 p.m. The lake level is at 890.26 feet right now. The inflow is 17,934. The outflow is 10,568. And the amount of inches in rain is 44.02. So they are saying that they're getting elevation from rain. So there's that. And we've seen, at 7 o'clock this morning, the inflow was 21,928 CFS. That's cubic feet per second. So they've upped the outflow with the power plant a little bit in the last few hours. So that's still going on. Alright, so now I'm going to show you my animation. I'm going to run this. Look at this. Look at where it's all filling up and it's turning into purple here. This is in that Oroville area. This is the Sierra Nevada. So they're on the west slope. They're going to be getting precipitation into the purple range between 5 and 7 inches, it looks like. Now it started over. And this is 10-day. We can see a couple of storm systems in the Midwest that are really slamming across here. So I'm going to stop it at the end of the 10-day, and we can see where it ends up. Okay, here it is. May 26th. It's at the end of the 10-day forecast period. And so we see all of, not just California, but a lot of Nevada. All of Nevada is getting something. All of Oregon, all of Washington, a lot of Idaho. I mean, this is a huge system, and it just is moving across, and it's really moving across the whole United States. It's a humongous system, and it's more than one system is the problem. And so by the end of the 10-day period, here is the accumulated precipitation. And when you get into the purples, that starts into 5. And when you get past the red starts, I guess, around 6 or 7. This is 8 on the chart after the brick red. So, they could get 5 or 6 inches over there. Some of it might be, and more than likely some will be in the form of snow, in which case it will add to the snowpack and will be melting and running off. And then if after these storm systems get done, if we head into really warm weather really quickly, that snow is going to melt really fast. So if the lake wasn't filled up and overflowing before that, good luck. And I'm not fear-mongering. I am just showing what's in the forecast. And so all of those, we're not just talking about Oroville. We're talking about all of those tributaries. All the rivers are running high. All of the reservoirs are almost at capacity. And they have a whole series of dams and levee systems and stuff, and any one of those could fail. Any one of them, and could cause an emergency further down the line. So, there you have it. And then we've got this going on through through the Midwest and saw an article today. I was going to present it, but I just didn't think I could do it justice with talking about Oroville. It's about the Mississippi and what kind of trouble the Mississippi River is in. But here they're into these bright red areas, 12 inches and higher of precipitation through Missouri, parts of Kansas. This is where they got that flooding a couple of months ago too, and up into Indiana and parts of Iowa. So that's just not looking good. So there's that. Now I want to read this article. This is from CNN. I know people say, oh, fake news, but this happens to be a pretty good article about the upcoming weather in California. This was posted today. California will get snow and possibly 2 months worth of rain from back to back atmospheric rivers. Series of storms impacting California. California is on track to get more rain in a week than it sees in 2 months, all from unseasonal storm systems rolling through. The National Weather Service's San Francisco office said that through May 22nd, the state is expected to get 150 to 200% of its normal monthly rainfall. It's all thanks to a series of atmospheric rivers that will set up over the Pacific Ocean moving into California. Atmospheric rivers suck up water vapor from the ocean. Remember, we saw that the ocean is warm, and so it's going to suck up, it's going to make it bigger. From the ocean, transport it along narrow regions in the atmosphere, and then dump precipitation in massive amounts on land, supercharging storm systems. There it is. That's what's coming on right now, and here's the next one coming in. The second of 3 rivers is setting up, is still offshore, but it'll start bringing rain and snow to California on Friday through Saturday. Then a third system, albeit weaker, will move through the state next Wednesday to help push precipitation totals over record amounts. While the lower elevations will see rainfall, the Sierra Nevada will see even more snowfall. Some areas could see up to 30 inches of snow. That's almost 3 feet of snow through Friday morning. The southern portion of the mountain range is already under a winter weather warning, and officials say travel will be impossible at times. And so what they're showing is this is the Mammoth area, Yosemite and the Mammoth area down here. But it's also snow coming across this pass, Route 80 coming across, and it's, you know, this is a late season snowstorm, and we do get them. And the kind of snow is going to be heavy and wet. It's going to be really heavy and wet. So this is from the Sacramento. A couple of storm systems will bring moderate to heavy snowfall to the Sierra Cascade range over the next several days. Travel impacts over the passes are likely. If traveling through the mountains, check the latest road and weather reports before departure. Expected high winds won't help travel conditions either, and are likely to cause power outages and down trees. These storms are unusual because they normally happen in winter. In fact, atmospheric rivers are responsible for pulling much of California and Arizona out of drought. The first atmospheric river moved through on Wednesday and is already dissipating. Before it did, it set daily rainfall records across the state. Venado, California got 5 inches in one day, making it the wettest day in May in its history. The previous record for the Northern California town was 3.28 inches on May 18, 2005. So, there's that. Then, what else have I got set up to see? Here's Twitter, National Weather Service, Sacramento. Interstate 80 West. What does this say? Chain controls. That's the chain thing. West Donner Lake to King Vale. So there are chain controls already in effect for I-80. Here's a picture of a funnel cloud. So it's not only snow and stuff, but it's severe weather too. This is across Northern California. A weather spotter reported a funnel cloud in the Oakdale in Stanislaus around 3:30 p.m. No touchdown or damage observed. Here's happening now. Valid for 3 p.m. Thursday. Local heavy rains with ponding water on the roadways, low spots, culverts, and ditches, small hail, occasional lightning strikes. So it's severe weather is what they're happening. Showers and thunderstorms are edging slowly east across the northern San Joaquin Valley and southern Motherlodeville foothills. Location impacted: Oakdale, Eugene, Jackson, San Andreas, and Angels Cap. So it's moving across. It's coming across. It's what it's showing. Here's the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. So it's going to be cool. Strong winds. I was listening to our local weather here in Reno, and over the passes they were having wind gusts almost up to 100 miles an hour. So here's Squaw Valley. Here's snow. Squaw Valley was going to get 7 inches. Independence Lake 8 inches. This is in 24 hours, and so on and so forth. So there's that. Here's the 10-day outlook for Oroville from Weather Underground. I'll refresh it so I can get the latest. Here we are on Thursday, so we passed the first little round of storms. Then tomorrow is partly cloudy, but they do have a 24% chance of rain in the morning. Then Saturday is when the next system rolls in, and they're expecting an inch of rain, 100% chance of rain for starting around noontime all the way through the rest of the day. Sunday, thunderstorms in the morning and then kind of clearing up in the afternoon. Monday, more showers. Tuesday, rain. Wednesday, partly cloudy. And then more showers coming in on Thursday for the next storm system. And then Thursday, and then Friday and Saturday sunny. That's next week. So there's that. So I'm just trying to give everyone all of the facts and tools that they need to make their decision just by looking at the graphs and the charts and the forecasts and everything. And you know, if they haven't already left, it's probably too late, because the passes now are going to be snow covered and it's going to be too hard to get out. So, you know, they might have a window of opportunity. If they want to leave, they'll have a window of opportunity Friday, it looks like, before the next round comes in. That's tomorrow, but you know, I don't think this is really accurate, because National Weather Service is already saying chain controls over 80. So that means unless you've got chains on, you can't go over the mountain. That's how bad it is snow-wise. So, yesterday, from midnight to midnight, the lake level went up 0.25 feet. But it started going up as soon as the rain started. And right now it's at, okay, at midnight it was at 889.48 feet. So right now it's at 890.26 minus 889.48. So it's gone up almost a foot. It's gone up 0.78 of a foot, or 3/4 of a foot. Since midnight. So I said I was not going to be reporting on this, but I've got to just keep reporting on the lake levels and the weather, if nothing else. And I'm not going to get caught up with a whole bunch, you know, debunking who says what. I'm just going to stick with the weather and the lake levels. So I hope that helps people. So I'm going to close out some of these. I'll leave links below. But this precipitation map is, I mean, this tells it all. This tells it all. And so we can be looking from day to day as to how this changes. So yeah, this is just on Climate Reanalyzer on hourly forecast maps. You can track precipitation and cloud cover. Let's see. I haven't set that one up. It's loading. Here it is. This is where it is right now. Or at the end. Here, this is where it is right now. Precipitation and cloud cover. Look at that. So the green is rain and the blue is snow. So we can see that all in the mountains is snow and then the rain. And then white is nothing. So let's run this one real quick. I haven't run this one yet. Here's that next system coming in. Oh, did you see that dark blue area? It came in. Lots of snow up here. It's almost at the end. Look at that. Okay, so you saw even right at the end. Okay, let's let it run again. I just can't fit the whole thing on my screen. So they'll have times when there won't be any precipitation, but then when it comes, it'll dump. Look at that. Uh-oh. I meant to stop it. Here we go. There it is at the end on May 26th. So if we go back through, here, this is right in that Oroville area and it's dumping. That's on for May 26th. So 10 days out. And a lot can change in 10 days. But that's the forecast here. So that's dark green. 2 to up to 5 inches, it looks like. Right there. Look at all of this. I mean, this system, these systems coming in are just unreal. So there we go. So we'll be watching that too. So I will leave links below for all of this. Now let's get into our earthquake report. I have USGS pulled up here for all magnitudes, and we're showing 317 in the last 24 hours. So that's pretty high. Of those, there are 42 that are 2.5 magnitude and higher, and so that's a high number too of the higher magnitudes. We're going to start with this 4.8 down in Macas, Ecuador. This came in last night at 9:04 p.m. last night, 137 kilometers deep. Then coming on down, okay, let's get this one out in the ocean next. 5.8 Central East Pacific rise right on the red line. This one came in today at 3:52 p.m. All these times are Pacific time because that's my time zone. Then a 4.6 near Mosac, Concha, Peru at 4:49 this afternoon. Oh, and we have a full moon coming up this weekend on top of everything else. So that will activate things. Then we got a 5.1 near Tacna, Peru at 7:32 this morning, 114 kilometers deep. 4.2 near Calama, Chile at 5:14 this afternoon, 112 kilometers deep. 4.4 near San Antonio de los Cobras, Argentina at 12:43 this morning, 221 kilometers deep. That's quite a bit deeper. Let's go on up here to Central America. We've got a 4.8 near Puerto El Triunfo, El Salvador at 3:30 this afternoon. 5.8 near Jiquilillo, Nicaragua at 9:22 this morning, 71 kilometers deep. Now, since that was in the ocean, that probably didn't do any damage, but on land that could have caused damage. 4.4 near Pijijiapan, Mexico at 12:11 this morning, 79 kilometers deep. Next, okay, I'm going to have to pause the recording. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Next we had 5.0 near Taron, Papua New Guinea at 3:17 this morning, 35 kilometers deep. Here's the little wave signifying maybe a tsunami. So we go here and we scroll down and we see there's no new warnings since that 7.7 earthquake that happened on the 14th. That was on land. That would be big enough to cause damage. Here's a 4.9 next to the island, same place, at 5:09 this morning, 35 kilometers deep. Next is another one on land of 4.5 near Amahai, Indonesia at 8:18 this morning, 32 kilometers deep. Next, down here, 4.7 near Gombongan, Indonesia at 7:39 this morning, 83 kilometers deep. That one was in the ocean. Next is another one up here in the Andaman Sea, a 4.9. The reporting station is Mohian, India, but it's actually in the ocean there. At 11:51 last night. We've seen them there before. They tend to cluster there. Now coming on up here, 4.3 near Farallon de Pajaros, Northern Mariana Islands at 5:54 this afternoon. Very deep, 303 kilometers deep. So the deeper they are, the more they will trigger tectonic plates to move around the planet. And then one off the coast of Kamchatka, Russia, was a 4.4 near Petropavlovsk, Kamchatsky, Russia, at 5:18 this afternoon. And I think that's all of the international earthquakes. Now let's move on over to all magnitudes for Hawaii. I got lost there. We're showing 8 here today. I'll call them off. A 1.8, that's at Mauna Loa. 2.6, 2.2, 1.9, 1.8, 1.8, 1.8, and a 2.0. So it's still showing movement there on Hawaii. It's not stopped. That Kilauea fell apart toward just a little over a year ago, and it's still been going. Stuff has been happening for the last year. Okay, 15 at the Dominican Republic. So let's call them off. 3.2, 0.8, 1.4, 2.9, 2.8, 2.8, 2.8, 1.8, 2.9, 3.1, 3.0, 2.3, what is that? 2.3, 3.4, 2.9, and 2.5. So we're seeing a little bit higher in magnitudes, and they're clustering a little bit more. Look at this cluster here. So There's that. Now let's move on up to Alaska. And we're showing 121 here today, so that's an uptick in the number. They average between 50 and 100 a day because it's a geologically active area. Of those 121, we have 2 that are 2.5 magnitude or higher. We had a 2.7 and then a 3.5, both near Anchorage. So that's a little bit higher than we've been seeing in that Anchorage area. But if you look at cams, they are having methane releases and sulfur dioxide releases here. So, and also down here through different parts of Alaska. So, and all of you know how to go to cams. I've taught you all down through the months. It's been about a year since I started doing this. Here's a minus 0.5 at ADAC. And then we've got some, ooh, look at this cluster. Oh my gosh. Who would have thought 46 earthquakes here at Dutch Harbor, Alaska? Who would have thunk it? That 46 of those 121 earthquakes for Alaska would be right down here at Dutch Harbor. Something is shaking. It's shaking. Most of them are small. Here's a 1.5. The rest are, they look like microquakes. A lot of them are minus 0.5. At 1.5 it looks like is the highest. Oh, here's a 2.0. You want to go see what it looks like? You want to go see Dutch Harbor? Sure. We haven't done this in a while. Let's get on Google Earth and just go look at Dutch Harbor, because we have an inquiring mind. There it is. And here's the volcano right there. The whole island, it looks like, is a volcano. Here's the peak, the crater. So that's on the side of the volcano there. Snow covered. Okay, moving on. Had a little coughing fit there. Sorry. Then we've got 2 at Akutan. These are small microquakes. Now we're coming up into the mainland. Look at all of these. At Cook Inlet, here's Redoubt Volcano. Look, we got a couple here. Iliamna, 2.4, that's a volcano. And another 2.4. I'm thinking some of these volcanoes are coming back to life. Here's a 2.3 at Redoubt. Here's the Anchorage area. And then they're moving up. 2.0 to Nana, sorry. Here's Kobuk. There's 11 here today. These are in the ones range, except for this 2.2 here. Then we got a few up at the Tippy Point Arctic Village in Koktovik. Now let's move on down to the lower 48. We're going to start in Tennessee. A 2.6 near Loudon, Tennessee at 3:12 this morning. Coming on across, we've got well, looks like we've got a clustering here. 3.3 Holdenville, Oklahoma. But look at these. We've got 4 piled up here at Cushing, or stacked up. 3.4 at 3:30 this afternoon. 2.5 at 4:49 p.m. 2.7 at 4:50 p.m. and a 2.6 at 5:38 p.m. So that's pretty good size, and they're all right there in that one place. Now let's come on up to Utah. We've got 4 here today. We've got 2 at Milford, 2 small ones down here, 2 microquakes, and a 1.7 and a 1.4 at Nephi. Coming on up into the Yellowstone region, we've got 17 here today. Looks like Challis is having an event. Here's Challis, Idaho. We've got 7 right here. I'm going to call them off for 1.4, 2.4, 1.2, 1.5, 3.0, 2.6, and 2.2. Here's a 2.6 near Lima, Montana. Here's 3, no, 4. They're all stacked up at West Yellowstone, Montana. These are small ones, 1.1, 0.6, 0.5, and 1.3. Next is a 1.4 at Livingston. Here's a 0.4 at Dillon. Here's a 1.2 at Manhattan. And another quarry blast right on schedule. 1.7 magnitude quarry blast at Butte, Montana at 12:02 p.m. Right on schedule. And then here's a 1.0 at Lincoln. So, lots of activity going on. Now let's move up into the Pacific Northwest. We're seeing one near Mount St. Helens, Here's a 1.2 near Mount St. Helens. It's called near Morton, but this is Mount St. Helens at 7:53 this morning. Let's check out the real-time tremor map. We've got, in the last 3 hours, we've got 1 hour of tremors. Most of them are down here by Salem, Oregon. Now the tremors happened before the earthquakes. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is 12 hours. Last 12 hours, 6 hours of tremors. Look at this line, this straight line all the way down. From west of Salem down through Eugene and then a little bit further south. Let's look at the last 24 hours. We've got 11.3 hours of tremors here. So that's showing movement. I'm thinking of this Cascadia subduction zone here. Even though we're not seeing a lot of earthquakes. So those tremors we're seeing right down here along this mountain range. What is it? The Willamette Valley. It's coming right down through there. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Okie doke, coming on down to the active areas, more active areas. Gonna start with point 2 near Cold Springs, Nevada. Here's a point 8 near Carson City. Here's a 1.0 at Hawthorne. 1.0. They're calling it Mammoth Lakes, but it's in Nevada. Here's 1.7 Courant. Here's some small ones in southern Nevada. These are down by Pahrump 1.0. Now, remember we saw a whole bunch down here at Alamo yesterday? We've got 15 here today. So whatever was going on before is still going on. Here's a 2.1, 2.5. Those are the larger ones, and then they're mainly ones in the ones range. So something's going on right down there. Now let's look at Eastern California. Now this is where they're getting a lot of that rain and snow right now. That system coming in. We've had 20 here at Mammoth Lakes today. Looks like they've clustered right up here near the this is all part of the Long Valley caldera. This is a super volcano. Now most of these are pretty small. Looks like ones and under. Here's 1.6 at Yosemite. 1.3 Bishop. 1.5 Wilkerson. 1.3 Tom's Place. And so here's our cluster at Mammoth. There's 14 right there. So that's picking up. Now moving on down. This is in the Coso area, Coso Junction area. We're just gonna do all these together. Here's 3 down at Trona, a 1.2, 1.2, and 1.4. Inyokern is a 1.8. And then we've got a 0.3 at Koso Junction, a minus 0.6, and a 0.7 there. Now moving on down into Southern California. We're seeing 31 on the map here today. That's about average. Here's a 2.5. That's one of the higher ones. It's Banning, California. Here's a 2.6, North Tustin. Right there by that little pond or lake. Here's a cluster or a couple 1.6 and a 2.1 at Brawley. 1.0 Borrega Springs, and so on and so forth. Here's a quarry blast, a 1.2 magnitude quarry blast near Big Bear City. Now we're going to come on up this west side. This red line we're following is the San Andreas Fault line. Here's a 1.4 near San Ardo. 2.0 near New Idria. 1.0 Pinnacles. 1.2 San Juan Bautista. 0.9 Alum Rock. 1.5 Alum Rock. 1.1 Livermore. Let's go up here first. 2 at Redwood Valley, a 1.8 and a 2.2 that just happened. Now let's go to the geysers. We've got 36 here today. That's about average. Between 20 and 30 is about average. So it's a little higher than I like to see here. Most of these are in the ones and under range. Here's a 1.9. That's one of the higher ones. So let's zoom out. I think that's a wrap. Yeah, I think we got all of those. So I hope everyone is safe and doing well. We're heading into some very scary times. Because we are in the end times. With climate change and the economy and society and the world, and Jesus talked of these times, and he said that there would be wars and rumors of wars, earthquakes in diverse places, there would be signs in the heavens and in the skies and in the earth when the end times approach. And this is why I'm doing these reports, to try and help people, to show them how close we are. And with each day we're that much closer to the end. But I'm also wanting to offer some spiritual support too, and to let people know that they're not alone. And I find comfort in some special Bible verses. And I'd like to share with you today, I'd like to just leave you with Matthew chapter 14. And this is after this is the story of Jesus walking on the water. And he says, we're starting with verse 15. And when it was evening, he had been preaching and healing the crowds and being with them and teaching. And so it says, starting with verse 15, and when it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, "This is a desert place, and the time is now past. Send the multitude away, that they may go into the villages and buy themselves victuals." But Jesus said unto them, "They need not depart, give ye them to eat." And they say unto him, "We have here but 5 loaves and 2 fishes. And he said, "Bring them hither to me." And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass. And he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes, and looking up to heaven, he blessed and brake, and gave the loaves to his disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. And they did all eat and were filled. And they took up the fragments that remained 12 baskets full. And they that had eaten were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. So that's the feeding of the 5,000. And straightway Jesus constrained his disciples to get into a ship, and to go before him unto the other side, while he sent the multitudes away. And when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. But the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary. And in the 4th watch of the night, Jesus went unto them, walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, "It is a spirit," and they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, "Be of good cheer, it is I, be not afraid." And Peter answered him and said, "Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water." And he said, "Come." And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried, saying, "Lord, save me." And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand, and caught him, and said unto him, "O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt?" And when they were come into the ship, the wind ceased. Then they that were in the ship came and worshipped him, saying, "Of a truth, thou art the Son of God." So, we just have to have faith that we will be fed, and we will be taken care of, and that we will be safe in the midst of all the storms, in the midst of anything that's happening, that we keep our eyes on Jesus and on God, and keep our faith strong, and not be distracted with things of the world, and not be distracted by the storm and the wind whipping, and not be afraid. And then we can be strong with him and He's with us for whatever we have to endure. So thanks for joining me tonight. God bless you, and I'll talk to you soon, and go in peace. I'll be praying for all of you. Good night.